Sorry about the messed up on the document.
Oh, no problem.
It was strange. I was accepting the comments and they were disappearing right away.
Yeah, I don't know. That never happened.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's all I put it's not much. It's just if anyone has questions about
Right. It clarifies what it is. It clarifies the hatching phase and the tribute. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Julio.
Hi.
Hello. It's all information that it's in other docs as well, but just so we have in here to make it easier.
Right. Let's wait a couple of minutes, see if Griff jumps in.
We're gonna find the document?
It's on the in the legal channel. In Discord, do you see it?
Yes, I found it. The channel. Thank you.
So what basically we're gonna do today, we're gonna define the different legal areas we should study a little bit and decide which path do we want to take. We were discussing that with Griff the other day, and from there, I would love if the experts can take a look at every single area that we identify as at least an area to take care or to make sure that we know what the legal aspects are, and from there decide which path we wanna take. Did you cut yourself, Julio?
Sorry.
I thought you cut yourself shaving. I thought you cut yourself shaving.
Exactly. It's loading since 1 hour. It never stops. Livia, I wanted to ask you in the meanwhile, if I have 30 seconds. We were speaking about creating simple contents for the people that are new to the community and want to understand the basics of the TA Commons. These contents at the moment don't exist. Am I right?
An onboarding guide, yeah, it does, but we have in the works to improve it.
Okay.
Because they are not the best right now. So I'll send you the issue that we're gonna work on. So I know you want to jump in. That's awesome.
Yeah, because I'm interested in that, and I also wanted to understand the T-Commons yet. Because I didn't understand the whole ecosystem value flow, and I think it's important.
Yeah,
hello, Marina.
Awesome.
Cool.
Work
Thank
together
you.
on that.
Hello.
Hi, Marina.
Hi. Oh, yeah, I know you can see me.
Do you remember
Do
me?
you guys know if Anya is gonna?
I do remember you. Yes, of course.
Nice to see you here.
Likewise. Yeah.
Well, should we start, or do we wait for Anya, see if she shows up?
Text her. I'm not sure. I didn't speak to her. I don't know if she was planning on coming or
well,
not.
I don't know if she had something else. We on last week meeting we decided to set up 4 o'clock because it worked for her, but maybe she's got engaged with some other meeting.
Okay.
I think we can probably start, and then
All right.
whenever she can come today, she jumps in.
Okay. All right. So basically, the idea on this group is to again to analyze every single aspect that we may feel that we need to dig a little bit into the legal issues and try to be covered as much as we can, or as far as we feel comfortable with. So basically, as you see in the document, in the manifesto, there's two basic phases on the project. One is the hatching phase, and the other one is the post-hatching or the bonding curve. So during the hatching phase, there's several areas that we've identified as potential areas of conflict. One is I hear echo. Is there anyone there with a mic on? Okay, thank you. So the hatching phase, we have to, first of all, it's a hatching phase where only people with CSTC tokens will be invited. So we have identified who is going to be jumping into the hatching phase. And we were thinking that probably we should have all of those users or individuals jumping into the hat of the Commons Stack Association. So what Griff is doing is he's analyzing with the lawyers if we can have everyone in the hatching phase belong to the token excuse me, the association, the Common Stack Association, to be covered, and that should be some document that the lawyers on the Common Stack may be ending quite soon. On top of that, we would love to have a document to warn every single one going into the hatching phase. Just like, a warning, if you are jumping into the investment, it's your own risk, and these are the risks that you may face. Okay, because just we gotta be aware. Everyone having impact hours is gonna be getting TE tokens, okay, for free, just representing the impact hours that every user has gained during this period of time before the hatching phase. On top of the ones that you will get for free or in compensation for the work that you've done, you will be able to purchase additional tokens at the initial price. And the amount of tokens that every single user will be able to acquire will be defined by the impact hours that he will have during this period of time. Okay, so you will basically have free tokens or tokens due to your impact hours, your contribution on impact hours, and you will be able to purchase at the initial low price additional tokens, right? So those are, everyone should have clear that, and we should, in the document, in this initial document, state what do you get and what can you purchase during this hatching phase, all right? And on top of that, make sure that every single participant has signed to be a member of the Common Stack Association and be at least covered in that sense. All right, that's during the hatching phase, and those are the documents that the people in the group that has a legal background should it'd be great if they could identify. We could work with them to define exactly the phases and see what we should include in those warnings or documents for the users. The second phase is the bonding curve, okay, where everyone can participate. In that second stage of the project, we should warn the users that this is a risk game, and the price is settled by the bonding curve, but we may be hacked. Okay, we may have our site hacked, and you may end up losing all your money just because we're we've been playing with the tools. So everyone should be absolutely aware that this is a risk project, and if you've invested, of course you will get, because you're coming from the initial phase, you will get a low price. But at the end of the day, there's risks associated with the everything that we're setting up. Okay. Hello, Griff.
Hey guys, sorry for being late.
Okay, so those are the two phases that we've identified. We may end up, bringing some other one. There's another one, which is once everything is up and running, the proposals. Okay, everyone will be able to submit a proposal, and what does that in terms of legal, in what implications it has. Okay, because we're going to be giving away funds for the proposals, and there may be other proposals who may return funds to the funding, the commons, the token engineering commons funding pool. So those are basically the legal areas that we've identified. So what we've done, we're working with GitHub projects, and we've identified these different areas that where we need at least to analyze with legal eyes, with someone who has a legal background, and from there decide how do we want to move forward. Okay. So let's I don't know if let me see if I can share my screen with you guys, because I was having problems the other day. Let me know if you guys see my screen.
Yeah.
So you see the GitHub board?
No, I see an ocean.
That's what happened the other day. Griff, can you share or Olivia, can you share the GitHub, the legal GitHub screen for me?
Yeah, sadly my internet's not good enough. I wish I could.
Yeah, let me get there. 1 second.
Just to make sure that this was mentioned, but there's also impact hours. Did you mention legal protection for the people who are earning impact hours?
I mentioned
okay,
that's in the hatching phase. Basically, there's two ways you will get tokens. Those coming from the impact hours, which will be linked to the contribution that everyone has done during the launching phase, and those that you might be able to purchase depending on the amount of impact hours that you will have. So some will come from the effort, not monetary effort, and some, if you want to, will come from monetary exchange, depending on the amount of impact hours that you will have. Okay, so this is the project that we've been creating, and we've started to create in GitHub. So basically, there are several things we've identified. One of them is the first one is Griff is working as I told you, is working with the legal team at the Common Stack to see how we could include everyone participating in the hatching phase and having CSTC tokens to be under the hat of the association, the Common Stack Association. How's the progress on that, Griff?
It's good. We have the terms and conditions, and the benefit of the CStack token and the Common Stack Association is that it's literally built to be a legal shield for the people building and participating in hatches. and initializing these economies. So the challenge is that we can't directly protect someone from participating in a hatch, but what we can do basically is have this legal org whose mission is to, in a way, be like a community for those people. And if they do run into legal problems, unfortunately, it's still their legal problem, not the Common Stack's. We tried really hard to figure out a way to do that, but it just wasn't possible. But we can give people legal thing as a member of the Common Stack Association. And so I can, I'll collect the links and share if you guys want to read up on it. But I do think that it's a really easy direction to go for making sure that everyone with impact hours and everyone who's part of the hatch is a member of this Swiss org, and that will give them at least as much protection as we can get.
Okay. Do we have identified what kind of issues we might jump into from the lawyers?
On our side, I believe we've already tackled all the issues and come to compromising with our Swiss lawyers. So we made a lot of compromises, and they're just reviewing the last terms and conditions.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay, so that's in progress. There's another one that that Griff created, and I would love, especially someone who can jump into this one to help, which is basically identify every single use case that every one of you may identify, and try to solve it. Okay, so things like what happens if I purchase this token, after I forget about it, and after 8 months I come in and I figure out that the price is down to zero. What happened? Try to identify every use case of users that users may face, and they may want to know a response from us, from the group, okay, and see how we can at least have a roadmap defined for those use cases that we have identified. So far, there is only this one, but it would be good if every one of us does a little effort and adds additional use cases that we think that may happen in the future. Keep in mind that not only the initial group of users may be a use case. It can be anyone else. Once the bonding curve is up and running, anyone will be able to come and buy tokens. People, experienced users, unexperienced users, people dealing with problems with MetaMask because they don't put enough gas and the transaction doesn't move forward. All these kind of cases, at least as many as possible, should be identified, and we should have an answer to any single one of those. Okay, on top. So anyone is invited to jump here. With it was open. This card was opened by Grave, but everyone is and maybe in the following weeks we should spend some time trying to identify some of those potential issues from users over time.
And this is a pretty critical issue to be done ASAP. So if anyone wants to take it on, it's a pretty fun issue. It's like, dream up all the problems that scenarios where someone might want to sue somebody in relation to their interactions with this smart contracts, right? So you can imagine all sorts of scenarios where it's like, oh, I had damages and this person caused them. I hope that we actually just assign one person to it. Obviously, if anyone wants to contribute, they can. But it's a pretty fun one, and I'm sure someone might want to take it on and earn impact hours for dreaming up problems. And then the end goal of this is for each problem that we dream up, we make another issue in GitHub, and we make sure that that problem is addressed, or at least we're aware of, if it's still going to be a problem after we propose a legal situation. That's the goal of this issue. Is actually the final product is 10 plus other issues of like, oh, how do we solve this problem?
Right, and we can think of any situation, maybe due to our smart contracts or not. Like yesterday, I was making a transaction, and I got stuck on MetaMask, and Griff helped me out. But if I'm an experienced user and I've committed an error and added a transaction with a bunch of money, I may end up, thinking that it's the association fault or the group fault, and I may end up wanting to sue, or at least try to solve the conflict in a way favorable to me, which is and considering that it's not our fault, it's MetaMask or whatever the blockchain problem. Okay.
Yeah, and actually,
So that's
Marina, or I'm curious, Marina or Dr. Lau, does that make sense? Is that a good idea, or is that a waste of our time? You know, because we're making this up.
Yeah, I think this is brilliant, actually, because this is what happens in a lawyer's mind, or at least in a judge's mind, when things like this happen. So you need to define the things that are happening in the real life, and then see how this is connected to the regulation that might apply to this person or to this organization. I think this workflow is brilliant. And it doesn't really help this organization, but it could help a lot of different organizations doing similar things.
The thing is that sometimes some of us are so used to the technology that we don't act as a new user. And we have to keep in mind that there will be new users, because even those receiving funds from us, some of them may be completely new to crypto. So we gotta be aware of that kind of user behavior, which is a user that's not familiarized with the technology. And sometimes the problems may arise not due to us, but due to that technology.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only that, it's that it really depends where this person is from, and also depends on, how they are paying their taxes, what their country, where they're like citizens, how are they actually, what are their rules on tokens, and of course, like securities and utilities and stuff like that. So it really, it should be written that, of course, it's a responsibility of each person at the end of the day, especially when it comes to taxes. But it's really good that we write that. And if we want to have a community and work for our community, to help them as much as possible to actually be aware of that. I think a lot of people are not aware of that. And then to find, like their consultant or someone that can help them understand what their country and their country's authorities is saying about that.
All right. Okay.
Can I add one thing?
So do you want to jump?
Yeah.
So I encourage everyone to just go ahead, Julio. Go ahead.
No, I saw that here you're considering mistakes by user or routine problems. And what about instead malicious attacks and people that want to exploit the system? Because I was thinking about the OneHive case where the OneHive community said that we will pay people who find vulnerabilities. That is a very used practice.
The bounty project, the bounty program that they are thinking on launching. Right.
I mean, I think that's an example of a great legal use case where, like, someone from the organization promises something that actually requires a vote. And I think that's a scenario that should be written down. I mean, the whole point of this issue is to write down 10 plus of those types of scenarios, and then once we have them written down, then we try to address them.
So maybe I would love if any of you guys decide to jump into this issue on the project. I will leave the link for the project in GitHub, or you can send me your comments or write them down on the legal document. But we maybe next week we may spend some time dealing with trying to figure out those those cases that may arise from everyone's point of view. Okay, the next one would be the blockers. Do you wanna talk a little bit about that one, Griff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking on two issues. The first one is just managing the blockers for the common stack. The CStack token launch and the common stack associations, like actual legal initialization. Because while it exists, it's kind of in a hibernation stage, and it's not. We're for everyone to be a CStack token holder, we're actually going to need everyone to donate 1 DAI, and there's a few blockers in that process that need to be plowed through. So yeah, I'm just tackling that one, and then and it's really a common stack issue, but I want to make sure that it's on our awareness in this board, because if we might need help. So the common stack has been focusing all our efforts in the TEC, and now it's hard to put effort into some of the core common stack stuff sometimes. So I'm just going to make sure that the issues that are blocking us are at least, because they're also blocking the TEC, are scoped out and understood in our legal roadmap. Also, the other issue. Well, are there any questions to that? Okay, cool. Feel free to interrupt me and just unmute if you have a question to that. And then the other issue that I'm going to take on is the Investigate ANJ, which is this was a project that I'm pretty intimately familiar with because I'm on the Aragon multisig and am very deeply connected to the Aragon team and have friends, I'm good friends with their main legal advisor. So I want to ask Maria how they dealt with the fact that they created a bonding curve and, had users come in and any points or just kind of investigate. Because right now we're in the research phase for at least a week, where we're just kind of gathering data around, what are the problems we need to solve and how did other people solve those problems. So that's really the mission for the week. And the goal with ANJ is they did something so similar, we need to investigate it. And so I'm going to take that one on, but I hope that we brainstormed a bunch of other projects that also have similar setups to us. They're not issues yet, but maybe they could be made issues by anyone who wants to do some research on them. It's in the manifesto, actually. So we brainstormed a bunch of projects that
sorry, Griff. If anyone wants to go over the manifesto and check the investigate point number 2, we can try to give you links to any of those organizations that we think may be worth taking a look and see how they are, facing their legal issues. Okay, and then the last one, I think it's the last one, is creating.
So one of them is Prime DAO. Maybe we could get Ruben to investigate Prime DAO. What do you think, Livia?
So much to unmute. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So can you get in touch with? Can you talk to him? Great. Okay.
Investigate some others, but were you thinking of talking to the people directly or just analyzing their documents like DXDAO? I think we were having a lot of discussions about that with Silke and Koala, and that we know a little bit about the process of how they did it. I think it was just writing really good terms and conditions and being very clear that Gnosis is not a part of DXDAO and that it's just something that lives on its own.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
if we have,
Go ahead, Santi.
If we have a chance to talk to them directly, that'd be great. If not, at least analyzing the documents and all the information that we can find from their organizations and see how they are addressing, or at least they write that the way they are addressing it, it's good input also.
Okay.
I can say I'm very privileged in this space. I can get people's time. So if we should take advantage of my privilege, and I can, if someone carries the flag and says, "Hey, I'm going to investigate DXDAO," I would say, yeah, okay, well, let me get you in touch with Sky, who's like their main community guy, and that I talk to all the time, and he would love to have a chat about DXDAO and the legal strategy that they do.
Shouldn't we talk to Silke about the legal strategy of DXDAO?
Yeah, probably. I mean, this is the thing. I have the connection, right, with someone in these orgs, and then they can be like, yeah, you should talk to this person. And then we make it happen. But the goal would be not to waste their time, of course, and to make sure not to go in well researched with real questions. Maybe even send them questions in advance so that they know it's serious and they're going to put their game face on.
Great.
Okay. Now there was the last one was the legal onboarding document. The idea here is to create a document that basically explains all the legal aspects that we are dealing with and that we are studying. So anyone who jumps into the organization and wants to has access to that document and can read about it. There's one last point that just came to that I just thought of today, which is the new legal regulations on EU that were released a couple of weeks or 3 weeks ago. It'd be great if we could if someone could take a look at those and figure out if there's relevant changes there that may affect us or not.
Yeah, I am already doing that. So if you have like 5-10 minutes, I can do that right now.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, great. So the process is, like you said, a month ago, there was this regulation from the European Commission issued. It is a regulation, which means that when it is adopted, it's going to be adopted in the same way in every European country. So it's not a directive. So this is quite good. And at the same time, it is a proposition. So it needs to go through the parliament, and then all the European member states needs to make up their mind and say if they what they think about it. I just got the document with 400 pages with the feedback from every country in Europe. But the most important ones in this moment are Germany, France, Slovenia, Portugal, because Germany, Slovenia, and Portugal are the presidency. They are leading the presidency in the next 1.5 years, within which this regulation is going to be adopted. That means that the timeline for this regulation to be adopted is actually at the end of this year. It's pushed a lot from Germany. Mainly, it's leading, as far as we heard, from there was a lot of lobbying from big banks, and this is why this regulation is not really crypto friendly, and it's not DeFi friendly, not DAO friendly. That means that it is in some parts, like you were saying, there are 3 or 5, 6 different categories of crypto assets, as they call tokens. The utility tokens are regulated in a way that if you issue them, you need to write a white paper. Issuing doesn't mean public offering, it just means issuing. There are some exemptions. Some exemptions that might be interesting for us are mining. So if you mine a token, you don't need to have a white paper. If you airdrop a token, you don't need to have a white paper, but there is airdropping for free, which means that not even sending your personal information. If you send the personal information and you're airdropping a token, it doesn't mean that this is you still need to write a white paper and talk to the authority from the country where you're from. Then NFTs are accepted, which is really weird, and I think that the regulators don't really understand what NFTs are, and NFTs are not even anywhere defined, so we don't know how they understand NFTs. And it is an exemption of 1 million euros, which means that if you're issuing a token and the value of all those tokens are less than 1 million, you can do that without a white paper. Or if there are more than less than 150 holders in every European Union country. So this is also so weird.
In every European, in every country. Every country.
Yeah. Every country, so you need to have a maximum of 150. So they're kind of weird, but there are some exemptions. But the most important thing that is regulated in this proposal is actually the issuance of tokens and the if you want to list them, the listing of tokens on the exchanges. So to make it really short, the idea of this was to regulate Libra. They want to be to be active, like adopted as soon as possible, just because of that. At the end of the day, as far as we understand, I've been talking to Simon Porot from ADAN, from the French organization, and with Florian from the German one. We also did some workshops to European Parliament, and so our understanding at the end of the day is that they want to ban, or they are banning DeFi, because they are banning all the the ways how DeFi is actually working, and they are banning DAOs in a way that you need to be incorporated if you want to issue a token to the European Union members. You need to be incorporated in the European Union. So I think when it comes to Common Stack, the most important part is how to issue a token and what does it mean to issue, what do we need to comply with if you want to issue tokens to European member citizens.
Okay. So and the only difference is that if you don't distribute more than 150 people from each country and no more than 1 million in value, you don't have to notify the authorities. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you very much, Marina.
We'll have to take a look at that and decide how do we want to proceed with the DAC. Do they really understand by DeFi, because you mentioned that they don't want the exchanges to operate, or they don't want to facilitate the work exchanges are doing. But by DeFi, do they identify protocols like Uniswap or like the one we will be having, which at the end of the day it will be like Uniswap, it will be a contract?
Yeah. No, they want Uniswap and all these organizations not to be decentralized protocols, but to be incorporated in EU. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, they are, the most heavily regulated are those e-money tokens or stable coins. So the problem is that the regulatory burden is really high, which means that if you need to have a license, you need to have certain amount of I think fiat within the organization.
Backing, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's very similar to what happens if you have a security or financial instrument in Europe, but it's just the regulation is not that heavy for asset-backed crypto assets. But basically, it is still so heavy for some of the startups that are out there, or organizations, or protocols, as we call them, that might be like too much for them.
Uh-huh. Okay. And if you launch from outside the European Union?
Yeah, it's not possible. They have two very interesting definitions there. One is what means a member state, and it doesn't mean you are in active in this member state when you offer a service or a product to citizens from this member state. So it doesn't really, it's not that important where this organization is from. There's also stated, it's really like defined in very detail that if an organization from a third country, so it's not EU country, is offering services like that to European citizens, this is the country of their origin and they would need to be incorporated there. There's another definition of managerial body, which I think is also very important for Common Stack, which means that it might encompass the legal and in physical persons. That means that if you're not incorporated, you could still be liable as a person that is making like it's member
your
of
personal belongings and your personal assets
like
and
general partnership stuff. But we still need to look into that. So what we are doing right now is that we're going to go through this regulation for different use cases. One would be an stablecoin. One would be an exchange, and also, of course, things like Common Stack are doing, like utility tokens. What does this mean for this project? And I think it's really hard to say right now because I don't think that regulators even know what this means.
Yeah, the sad thing is that they are going to regulate what is, in my personal sense, impossible to regulate. I mean, they are just thinking traditionally, legally, instead of the digital world we're in. But that's what it is. So we gotta.
And the problem is that they're banning interest, which means that all the DeFi projects that are using interest as a part of their like business model or model, as we call it, they are banned. Right.
Okay. Well, it's great that you guys are looking at that deeply, and you can update us as we keep meetings going on. We will have to, for sure, at least keep that in mind, whatever we decide. I know we will launch either way, but we gotta be aware what are we jumping in. That, I mean, the idea is to launch, but know the enemy and understand how.
This doesn't affect us today, but it will in 18 months from the day when it's going to be live. Right. So
I
think it's still.
And is there a clear law on organizations that launch before the law starts? Will they have to become an incorporation or?
No, I mean, before they can't regulate you before, but I think it's since they're regulating listing and issuance, I think it's important what the plan of the organization is after it is adopted. So if you want to issue a token after it is adopted or list the token on an exchange, you would need to be compliant at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
And they understand by exchange anything, DeFi.
Mm-hmm. I mean, by exchange, they would understand centralized exchanges, as we call them, because decentralized exchanges wouldn't exist because they would need to be incorporated.
Okay. All right. They wouldn't exist, but they exist. So
yeah, of course. But it's like, then you see what anyone can do. But here is the problem: is that they are regulating anyone that is offering anything to the European citizens. So I think that in the future, like whatever protocols, organizations, they're just going to think, oh, is this market important enough for me? Do I want to be regulated here? If not, I'll just skip this market and just go somewhere else.
Right, but that's the centralized thinking. I mean,
yes.
It's great if the world is centralized, but we are jumping more and more into a decentralized world, which means that this law is lacking clear. It's not clear on a decent. The way the world is moving. But anyway, that's how we have to deal with. That's what we have, and we gotta at least know it as much as we can to be prepared.
It's not going to be one of the most, one of the biggest projects in Europe that some authorities will go after, I think,
Right,
you know,
I know.
and also the way how
Yeah, but
it's
we gotta be prepared. Because you never know. Mhm. Julio.
Mention that.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead, Julio. Yeah.
sorry, if you want to go, no problem.
No. You first.
No, I wanted to ask a question since the beginning, and Marina gave me the start because I was really thinking about token engineering community being a point of reference for this kind of knowledge. I mean, legal knowledge and across the different national regulations and how it impacts our work and the work of other DAOs. And I see that in this group, the legal working group, of course, the first priority is to deal with the legal aspect of the organization and on the token issuance and the stuff we talked about. But what about this side of the question instead? I mean, in my dreams, token engineering is also, I mean, as like an internal team of legal experts that do produce this kind of knowledge to the public and to other DAOs and to the crypto users because they are, I mean, because we are independent and not related to a single project, and we have an open vision and values about what token engineering should be. So what about this? Have you thought about it? Because, for example, that could be that I mean, this work is vital for every DAO. So I don't see it so crazy to make every DAO contribute to a single pool of experts to democratically control and blah, 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 to make this kind of work.
I would agree to that. I mean, this is the magic, or this is the goal of the Token Engineering Commons, is to create public goods, and legal knowledge on this sort of stuff is a public good. Easy access to it is better than not. So,
yeah, because just one more second, I agree with Santig that they are reasoning in a centralized way for the centralized applications, but I mean, regulation will come because power will will want it. So it's not a matter of if it happens, but when. So I think the earlier we get to do it, the better it is for everybody. And I think that the majority of DAO's community is not in the mindset of this happening because they are like, we are above the law and we can do our stuff without thinking about regulations. But I don't think it's the case.
So I think it really depends where these people are from. When the most, I mean, the people that are kind of representing the industry, again, not DAOs, but like, you know, the major organizations in the industry are kind of the ones that are talking to the regulator for already 5 years or 3 years. And I think that the regulator knows them and they know how to explain things like DeFi, DAO and stuff like that. And this is what we are doing right now. We are organizing workshops, talking to lobbying organizations in order to do whatever we can. But from what I heard, there's not a lot that we can do actually at this moment. And then I'm talking to, I don't know, Vlad and others that are not from the European Union and are, of course, looking from, you know, this centralized way or blockchain law way. And they just say, whatever, like European Union is such a small market, we don't care what happens, we're just going to focus on other markets. And this is kind of the sad reality that we want to convey to the regulators.
Right. I think there's gonna be this is gonna evolve, and we are now. I think we are now in the fear phase where they are fearing everything that it's killing their business, killing their regulations, and killing their power. And this will flow little by little. But right now it's what it is, and the better we know it, and the better we are prepared, you know, the better for us. If you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just want to say that while we will end up being decentralized, the Token Engineering Commons and at least any commons that uses the common stack approach needs to start out with a trusted seed, needs to start out with a barrier of entry into the hatch, because we can't let random people with short-term profit that are short-term profit minded like join the initialization of the common system. It will not work. They will dump the coin and we will lose the opportunity to create value for the public good. So we need people who are experts in the public good, or at least care about the value being created and the mission of the project, and so to initialize the project. So I think that we need to acknowledge that we are initializing in the whole theory is complex. Important part of creating a complex system is the initialization, and who we bring into this organization at the beginning will have huge influence and ripple effects on how that organization evolves and what it ends up doing. This is the main difference. This is the trusted seed idea, and it's the main difference between a shitcoin and a network that's actually going to create value. So we have to acknowledge, especially in this group, that we are starting off centralized. And so we need to take care for that. Just to make sure. Yes, then we decentralize. Post-hatch, it's decentralized. But here we are.
Okay, we'll see. Marina,
I also just want to say that I don't know if you guys can even hear me because my internet sucks.
It pretty good, yeah.
But I'm hoping that with some of the few last minutes that we can actually try to assign issues and see if we can see if anyone wants to take on some of these issues and like take it on as and get some impact hours by tackling some of the huge needs that this working group has.
So Marina, I'm gonna create an issue with the work you guys are doing already, analyzing the law that's gonna come out in EU. And maybe you can update us in the following meetings. One last question I wanted to ask you. Do you know Cristina Carrascosa from Spain?
I don't remember. Is she dealing with tax law or no?
Yeah, she deals with tax law.
I think I met her at Koalas once.
Okay, because I was thinking on inviting her to participate. I don't know if she will want to, but I may try.
Yeah.
Okay, so great, guys. So we've identified the case study, trying to identify use cases where we gotta be prepared from users, situations that they may face. Anyone who wants to help on that? Well, I'll start with Griff. Griff actually has started with the first one, but it'd be great if any of you can add or just let me know if you think of any situation that you think it's worth a little bit spending some time and figuring out if it's worth analyzing the impact, the legal impact. We're also going to be working on this legal document, onboarding document. So we have identified all the aspects that we're going to be considering for the two phases, the hatching and the post-hatching phase, and finally the proposal or the ongoing phase once everything is launched. And we're going to have Marina and the other legal colleagues update us on how the legislation keeps evolving and what's ideally our path once it just starts regulating the space. Anything else here, Griff, from your side?
Well, I would be down to like kind of put people on the spot and see if there's any issues that they want to take. I just want to say, like, you don't don't have to take any issues. There's a lot of work in other working groups that everyone is doing, but I do want to give everyone an open chance to say, like, oh yeah, this issue is interesting to me. I've been excited about Fairmint for a while. I would love to take it on. So the issues I want to take on are mostly around all the common stack stuff, because I'm uniquely positioned to make sure those things get there. And then Aragon's A&J token and what they've done there. I'm going to take on those issues and hopefully report something back next week. And maybe I'll pass it to Livia. And by the way, you can definitely say, no, I can't take any issues because I'm doing other stuff. Fine. But give you guys the space to talk.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to point that I felt like when we were talking about DXDAO, Marina, you were saying that you were investigating things with them already? Or did I understand wrong?
We were discussing, things while they were working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help people document stuff. I don't want to take any point completely to myself, but if Marina, you want to one day jump in a 30-minute call and just dump me all the information that you have about DXDAO, I can help documenting it, or I can assist people doing that.
Okay, great. Then we will create issues for the 2 or 3 organizations that we may be easily able to find documentation, and from there we'll try to figure out who can help on either of those.
I actually made a bunch of issues during the call, so there's a bunch of issues now on the board with DXDAO, PrimeDAO, all these guys. So also I'm hoping that we can try to keep all of our documentation on GitHub in public and accessible for everyone. Like if someone gets busy and they drop the issue, then other people can pick it up, and it's just all the information is already there in the issue and also accessible to everyone else who wants to come check it out.
All right,
Livia, do you want to pass it to someone? Oh, sorry, Sam.
No, I just wanted to wrap up and start passing to everyone. Thank you. I want to thank you all for coming. It's a very interesting topic. It's not easy, especially for those like me who are not in the legal arena, but it's really interesting and important for the organization. So I'll pass it to Septimus.
Yeah, I think you are doing an incredible job here. I don't think I can help on this working group, because I think that what you're doing here is must be I mean, there cannot be failure on anything, because it's quite dangerous, I would say. But I'm really glad to be here and hear the Marina stuff. When Marina was talking, I was amazed about the knowledge you had, and it's amazing to hear about that. And I'll pass it to Greg.
Morning, everybody. Thanks for letting me listen. My first answer is no, I can't directly take anything on. Indirectly, I certainly want to try and listen in to these calls and follow and be able to spread information as this group develops it. And personally, it's a very interesting topic to me. So the answer is no, but yes. And I'll pass it to who's left? Marina, have you gone?
Thank you. So I think to me it's very interesting what you, Griff, suggested. I mean, to talk to projects and you, Livia, for example, to understand what DXDAO did. Angela and I had some calls at the beginning of the year with Fairmint too. I also talked to the guys from Switzerland. I forgot their name. They're also working on a similar thing. So that would be something that I would be very interested in researching. And for other things, that was my first call. So thank you for letting me be a part of it. And I pass it to Julia.
Okay. I would like to look at the transition from the closed hatch
which will be under the auspices of the Swiss Association, to whatever incorporated entity that would be required under new EU laws. At the moment, for example, Lexdale, which I'm a member of, we are a Wyoming unincorporated association, so it's pretty much like a club, and that gets us away from a lot of legal liabilities, but it still has a judicial identity. I'm not sure what the European equivalent is, so I'd like to look into that.
Yeah, that's one of the points that we were discussing with Grief. Analyze it or approach it as an investment club. Is that what you're saying?
That could be one of the options. There are other alternatives. For example, you can have what we call a community interest group, which aims to be zero profit. So you can make a profit, but it's usually put back into the community.
Okay.
May I ask which jurisdiction is this from?
That's UK. That's why I need to look into what is in the various European jurisdictions.
Okay.
Thank you. You want to add anything else?
Dr. Lau? Is it Lau or Lu?
Lau.
Lau?
Yeah,
can you say what that was called again?
Just
community
interest group, community.
UK, there's something called a community interest corporation. It's equivalent to the US low profit limited liability, and it's a very unique structure which is aimed at social impact at groups.
Very cool. I'm going to make an issue. Would you be interested in taking that?
I've already put up an issue.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Okay, great.
Perfect, Julio. You wanna?
I want to say that I'm really happy of this group, and I was waiting for it because I find it very interesting. And Livia, I think I would rather get myself into like comparing the different DAOs regarding to the legal aspects and the economics and legal structure rather than the soft governance group, because I think that here I'm more useful and more interested, and so more useful because I prefer the research part. So I think that I could be involved in this, like making also a table or some like of typologies of legal knowledge or structure of the DAOs and stuff like that. Maybe with Marina, if you want to help me with the technical knowledge.
Mm-hmm. May I just
because I know nothing about the technical level.
Okay. May I just add something here?
Sure.
I don't know how this is working, but yeah, we're concluding now. I just talked recently to some researchers from the Utrecht University, and they are doing something very interesting because, I think their first project was the evaluation of existing blockchains, and then trying to have a system where people can actually choose which one is the best one for them to work with. And now they're working in a similar way with DAOs, and they already have like a really long list of all the existing DAOs that they were researching on, but they are actually looking at the DAOs as a software platform. So there are not a lot of them out there. And I think, I was talking to them because they were reaching out to me if they want to have because they wanted to have an interview with me. But I think it would be great if they could talk just to someone from token engineering community. And if they are they could be willing to share this document with us, I think would be an initial great step. And then we can, exchange information with them also in the future.
That sounds great. If you can put us in touch with them, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone else missing here?
Hi, Anya.
Hello, Anya.
The water with me. I'm 1 hour late, so just continue, please. Sorry for that. Yeah.
we can try to update you once the meeting is over with what we discussed here.
Yeah, I can do that. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up here. It's past an hour. And so again, the board will share with you the links. We'll share the links of the issues on the board from GitHub, so everyone will be able to see the different things we're working on. And I will see you next week, same hour. If in between there's anything that you may be willing to know or interested, I'd be happy to get in touch with you guys and discuss it. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.